Hi, this is Sanskriti from Earshot with another discussion. And the topic today that we have is that we saw a recent violence in Delhi area around Hanuman Jayanti, and will a register or a bill like an NRC solve that issue for good? I have with me Mr. Abhijit Majumdar and Mr. Nagendra Sharma for this discussion. And I just want to open with one question: that do you think, first of all of these sort of riots or incidences of stone pelting, violence, police, somebody shooting policemen or armed people, is entirely related to or created by just illegal immigrants?
It is not created by entirely by illegal immigrants, definitely, but there is a very, anecdotally, from what we have seen so far, from the reports, from the versions of cops, it seems like there is a very strong illegal immigrant angle to this violence that has happened in Jahangirpuri, especially, and maybe more than just Delhi. In other areas where there was violence during Ram Navami. There is suspicion that there were Bangladeshi immigrants involved, probably also Rohingyas.
True. So that brings me to my next question: that is NRC really a solution to it, or do you think that as a long-term real solution to this problem?
Well, Sanskriti, thanks for having me and Abhijit on today's episode of News Decoded. You have a very interesting topic. See, NRC has been talked about for about more than 2 years now. So after NDA 2, after Narendra Modi government won the second term with a mandate which no party has got since 1984. So I was checking up. So this government has been talking about NRC, but officially, as late as November, the Home Ministry has replied in Parliament that there is no plan for a nationwide NRC. So is NRC the solution or not? Maybe it is, maybe it is not. But see, Sanskriti, the problem is what is happening right now. It is not that the Ram Navami processions or Hanuman Jayanti processions have started this year. See, this is mixing of politics with governance, which is creating a serious problem. My take is this: whether NRC is the solution or not, NRC has been has been in works, almost was completed, a draft was sent back in Assam. So an idea which originated from Assam, which had, specific problems, Abhijit has a lot of research about NRC. So it was essentially an idea picked up from Assam. It has been tried to, give it a national angle. Every country, has some sort, I'm talking of major democracies, they have some sort of a register for their citizens. India was going ahead with that, but there has only been political talk. There is no progress on that also. And this entire thing that is happening, see, this is actually, it may be good politics for the ruling party, but it is bad governance. That is how I look at it.
And also, one of the things that I was also reading about is that it said that NRC is implemented in Assam, but it isn't majorly a very big success. There's still issues, and a lot of times these people who have been found out without any documents aren't really sent back. So even the places where NRC is sort of applicable, it's not created a lot of on-ground difference.
Yeah, I would like Abhijit's take on this, because Abhijit, there is history attached to it. So Assam, basically the 1985 accord between late Rajiv Gandhi and the All Assam Students Union, which gave birth to Assam Gan Parishad then. So that was the genesis when they said that the IMDT Act, the Illegal Immigrants Deportation Act of that 1971 was the cutoff. If you have entered Assam before 1971, so it was that, you will be allowed in the country. So Abhijit, what went wrong with NRC and why Assam NRC was washed out?
No, there are several reasons. One is, later on, this whole amendment to the IMDT that, made it almost impossible to, first of all, determine who is a illegal immigrant and then detain and deport.
Right.
It made it almost impossible. So that was reversed by a Supreme Court order.
Yes.
Now, despite that, so much, on the ground, what have governments done to find out and stop illegal immigration? Nothing. I mean, we have seen that almost every regime has freely given, ration cards to other documents, to illegal immigrants, for exchange of bribe, etc. They have become vote banks. Now, how will it really needs, if there is to be a watertight NRC, it needs tremendous political will to investigate a certain, whether that person has actually come in illegally and procured documents and stuff. And you see, when it's human tendency, it's human instinct. People who come in, migrants, especially illegal immigrants, when they come in to a place, they are doubly more conscious, alert, active in procuring documents than people who have been living here for ages.
Who won't bother?
Who, for them, they take it for granted that we are
right
from here.
Yes.
So, they may not have a, grandfather's mark sheet or whatever, but the person who's coming in from outside will always make sure that he or she has the proper documentation. So, there are several layers of problems. But my point is, if BJP is in power and BJP has been talking about illegal immigration most vocally, then what stops them from making an example out of, say, 500 people who have come in illegally? What stops them from actually catching them, proving that they have come in illegally, disenfranchising them? And, you don't even need deportation, Narendra. When there is fear of law, when you end the incentives to come and, settle here, then more people stop coming. And a lot, as we have seen after the announcement of CAA, it is unfortunate. There is a great element of corruption in that. But we have seen that thousands of Bangladeshis went back to Bangladesh, crossing the border, paying 5,000. When they come in, they pay 500 rupees to enter India. To exit India, they paid 5,000, 6,000 rupees per person, and went back to Bangladesh because they thought that
there might be trouble here.
Yeah, there might be trouble here. So it is, that is something that should have. Yes, Sanskriti.
Yeah, and I think just remembering that I also saw it in the news some time back. There are a lot of these Rohingyas and, if I may say, Guspettis actually had Aadhaar cards and fake PAN cards and stuff like that. So it's very easy for people to get these kind of fake documents. So, how do you then really filter out who's
you act
not
on the ground?
Yes,
you crack down on criminals.
See, Sanskriti, it is very clear. One may agree or disagree with the law. So once the government, which has a majority in both houses of parliament, decides to make a law, right? Whether I agree with the law or not, or anybody. So whether the law is right or not, that is for the courts to interpret. But once if you have a law, then the matter is effective implementation. And effective implementation has been one of the biggest problems.
Yeah.
We have a vast country, right? In the vast country now, you are talking of fake Aadhaars. So, that way anything. So question is that once you decide a foolproof implementation, you have a proper machinery in place. Look, Sanskriti, when things have to move in this country, things move. Look at the COVID vaccination. Vaccination was happening all across the globe. This is perhaps the only thing that we'll see in our lifetimes. Only once. But once when India decided to have, US or Europe having that vaccination, but the way India has, so I'm saying that once when you decide to have proper implementation, it can happen. The problem is there is lack of political willpower. There is a lot of politics. And when there is a lot of politics, when it mixes with administration, this is all what happens.
So, I think what we've time and again seen, like you said, with this current government, and especially in the second term, that there's always this case of some sort of upheaval and riots and all these stone peltings, and it's
Well, Sanskriti, that has just happened. See, all governments, whether Modi government and all state governments, we have to give them a little bit of benefit of doubt during this tenure. See, because 2 years have gone by things which were not in their control. Like the COVID pandemic, that has taken away 2 years of the globe, not only India. But when we discuss, governance in that, so see, 2 years have, sort of, you have to set off 2 years.
No, but I'm just talking about this sort of breach, I at least feel, has been unheard of before this present government, the past 2 tenures, and especially the second term. Why do you think, especially NCR and capital region, has suffered the most? The highways have been blocked or all of that. So why do you think that's the case, and what do you think could be a solution?
Well, I'll have Abhijit's take on this. It's pure politics. It has been pure politics. And see, it is not only that NCR, I think you're talking of the anti-CAA protests.
Yes, everything.
So the highways were blocked. Then you're talking of the farmers' movement.
Yeah.
So, or both the things were pure politics. See, Delhi elections were coming. It was suiting two major contenders to have the debate around that. Right? Farmers, that has been debated a lot, and now after the current round of assembly elections, the way Prime Minister showed political astuteness and outwitted his rivals by scrapping the farms laws. Yes, but that is something which actually beats me. That why roads were allowed to be blocked and why blockades were there, because see, that was that. This government, given its image, given its pro-poor and pro-rural image, it didn't want to harm that. That is the way I look at it, but I would like Abhijit's take on this.
No, I mean, see, for the opposition, first of all, the national opposition, I'm not talking about the state oppositions, because in the states we have seen, at least in 5-6 states, there is very robust regional opposition that has also beaten BJP. But nationally, the opposition has been routed twice. It doesn't see any kind of it doesn't have a great hope of coming back even in the next elections at this rate. Now, there has been a fair bit of thought in the opposition about what to do with this kind of a thing. I mean, are we unelectable? If we are unelectable at the national level, then what is the way to disrupt governance? What is the way to actually defeat Narendra Modi? So, street protests. If you follow statements by people like Yogendra Yadav, Harsh Mandar, they have actually openly said that streets are the only way to sort of restore democracy. So what the democracy has elected BJP to this thing power. Streets are the way to snatch back democracy from the hands of the fascists and stuff like that. That's rhetoric.
Basically, fringe political players who don't have political destinations. But they think to have. Seem to have ideas.
One day Yogendra Yadav is Salim and a Muslim. The other day he is a legal activist. The third day he is a farmer leader. He has also been kicked out of the farmers' protest, I believe. After some time by action.
Basically, people who have ideas but don't have a political destination.
Exactly. These are, as Modi calls them, Andolan Jivis. But there might be debate on that. But, this has been the chosen way. But where it is the thing to worry about is it is now taking a really violent turn. Yeah. This has to, two communities, I don't think, no riot or no violence happens without planning.
Absolutely. Without any political patronage or something,
Usually two communities do not clash without serious political planning and backing. So there is very clearly, how can swords come out overnight? How do revolvers, pistols come out? There is a very strong political backing. There is a very strong feeling that people inimical to the country's interests are at work. At the same time, there is also a very counter polarization happening on the Hindu front. We have also seen processions of Hindus, wielding
Turning
pistols
aggressive,
and turning very, very aggressive.
Yes,
So this is not, I don't know, politically it may benefit either way, but
very dangerous. Also.
yeah, it is not good for the country. It is. I just hope that it doesn't go out of control at some point of time, and the government will at some point of time stop thinking only politically and also think about, cracking down hard on miscreants. This is simple. There is a reason why they are. It's called the government.
Correct.
They're
Not
supposed
a
to
party.
govern.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not a party. This is, they're supposed to govern. And highways can't be hijacked for one whole year. Processions can't turn violent in 10, 11 states. It is unnatural. There has to be very, very strong action. Imagine this happening in Saudi or Dubai. It's unthinkable.
Completely. And I think it has consistently happened. So that brings me to one last question of this panel discussion. Is that, do you think we are setting towards, as a nation, towards some sort of riot and, if I may say, outrage fatigue as well? But nowadays, even I start feeling that there's another dharna, there is another riot. Whether it's one-on-one, like, this Ram Navami and Hanuman Jayanti, and again, maybe sometimes it's around Ramzan, you hear things. And then there is against these laws. Are we really going towards a fatigue that, we've lost hope around this?
No.
I believe a fatigue has set in.
See, situation may be serious in that. No, this country has great resilience. Fatigue maybe, but I don't think that, we are still at some stage. Yes, corrective measures are required and all that. But then, hope, yes, hope is always there and country has great resilience. That is what I.
Yeah, no, India will tide over this.
Yes.
100%. There's no doubt over it. But whether we are fatigued by violence or not, we as in people like us,
Yes.
English speaking, microscopic elite, really doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
It really doesn't matter. Riots, violence, tensions happen, affect the poorest of the poor, the most dispossessed, underprivileged, the most. And for them, they don't have the luxury of fatigue. They have the prospect of fear, not the luxury of fatigue. So that is why this ought to end.
It's true. Thank you so much, Nagendra sir and Abhijit sir, for this. Thank you so much for tuning to Earshot. We do a live every single day at Facebook on our Facebook page, Earshot podcast, called The News Decoded. You can also tune into our app, Earshot, or go to our website, earshot.in. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram @Earshot Podcasts. And lastly, please follow us on YouTube, Earshot Podcasts. Thank you so much.